Hello. Well, I've got a spiffy haircut and finely shaped beard. And that can only mean one thing. It's time for an exciting episode of the Haircut Conspiracies. So, today we got all kinds of wonderful information. To be clear, again, these are not my own views. These are the views of the person that cuts my hair, and the person that cuts my hair relays these things to me, and then you are so blessed that I in turn relay these things to you. So let's go ahead and get started. They're going to allow Biden to be inaugurated on January 20th. Now, this bodes well for yours personally, yours truly, because I bet another conspiracy theorist that the inauguration would actually happen. So I'm pretty happy to hear that. So what's going to happen is Biden's going to get inaugurated on January 20th. Yay for me. And then he's going to be arrested and tried for treason. And so the trial is going to be held by a military tribunal, and apparently Flynn has been put in charge of the military, and he's actually in charge of the whole United States. And Trump actually stepped down when he made himself a candidate for the next election, 2024. He is not currently the president of the United States, and Flynn is somehow in charge of the entire United States. Wow. So let's see. So what's going to happen is they let Biden get inaugurated, then he'll be charged by the military tribunal. Not exactly how sure that would work from a constitutional perspective, but okay. And then the real inauguration, Trump still hasn't lost. He's going to be, President Trump will be inaugurated on March 4th, which was the original inauguration date, but Roosevelt changed it because he's a communist or something. I don't know. I just threw that last part in. But anyways, so that was one little nugget. Let's see. A lot of random things. So let's just try to keep a track here, right? The voter fraud thing, the director of the CIA was, I guess, taking, I assume, Diebold servers down in Germany. And she was in Germany, and then the good guys came in, which I was told was the military, and there was a shootout. And she was wounded, and she was a bad guy. Apparently, she was one of the people, part of the deep state that is trying to ruin glorious President Trump's record for all the fine things that he's done for our country. And what's going to happen is, well, she's been taken to Guantanamo, right? And then there was someone else who landed there right after her, which was proof of all this. And so there's a lot of people in Guantanamo. Let's see. The found out a little bit more about Q, some of the things that we suspected, probably, right? Those of us in the know. John Kennedy Jr., of all people, is still alive, of course. You guys been informed of that. I've passed that on in the past. But he is, he's a part of Q. And then the admiral, and I forget his name, that was the head of the NSA, he stepped down. And then a couple weeks later, the posts from Q started. And since the NSA is able to listen to everything, which that is actually true, 98% of the world's digital communications are monitored by the NSA, 95 to 98%, somewhere in there, in real life, by the way, not in fantasy land. But since he was able to monitor all that, he has the understanding of who the bad guys are and all this, and this is going to lead to all of the arrests that are pending. These arrests, they're always pending, but now that the presidential election has been criminally stolen from the president, the rightful future president of the United States, Donald Trump, there's going to be even more. And yeah, so President Trump isn't currently the president. He's stepped down. Michael Flynn is going to head up the military tribunal that is going to prosecute all this. There's that, I forget how the person says it to me, or something crazy like that, where Trump, at some point in the near future, is going to release over 6,000 pieces of technology that is going to change our life. And a part of this also is funny because it sounds very much like socialism to me, where we're not going to have to pay our bills anymore. The government is just going to pay us. And what's funny is that this is a right-wing conspiracy, and when you read between the lines, it's just pure socialism, which I thought those right-wing folks were against. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. And then some other random nuggets come out, right? And believe me, let me just repeat this in case anybody catches this video halfway through. These views are not my own. These views are the view of someone who cuts my hair, who conveys these things to me. Anyways, President Obama ordered $65,000 in hot dogs. And apparently at some point, even Hillary Clinton called him out on this, which, and apparently the code there is hot dogs aren't hot dogs because nobody spends $65,000 on hot dogs for the White House. I mean, that's not statistically possible. So hot dogs are code for little boys, from what I'm told. So that's well known, and I guess that's going to come out at some point. Oh yeah. I forget, and I kind of bounce back and forth here, so please forgive the presentation. During the raiding of the Capitol building by that was Antifa, by the way. There was no Trump people there. There were no Trump fans, but there were some military folks sparsed throughout the crowd who are the good guys, right? And so when all these bad Antifa guys, and it was all Antifa, no right-wing folks whatsoever, I was assured of that. When all these Antifa guys ran in, these military guys like swooped in the crowd and grabbed 15 laptops. So the way that they got Hunter and Joe Biden already, right, with the laptop and all the crazy stuff that's on that. And if you've watched these episodes before, you've probably heard about Hunter Biden's laptop. But apparently there's 15 more now. And so now they're going to get Nancy Pelosi, which I got to admit, I have not been a big fan of Nancy Pelosi. So for me personally, I view this as a win-win. But apparently those were all Antifa folks, none of them right-wing folks. Obama, the $65,000 in hot dogs, the director of the CIA, what else? Oh, there was a picture that hung in John Podesta's house or in his office, and it had a bunch of kids chained together in an empty pool. And it used to hang in Gloria Vanderbilt's house, which, if you know Gloria Vanderbilt, her son is Anderson Cooper. You see, CNN, fake media, okay? It all comes full circle, people, full circle. So back to the painting. The painting has some kids handcuffed together in a pool with no water. And apparently what this means is that this is all symbolism, because apparently they hang the kids up by their hands in the pools. And that's where they skin the kids alive after they torture them for the adrenochrome, which, in case you're just catching on, the adrenochrome is what's been drinking, the Hollywood elite drinks this. It's gathered from the blood of tortured children. And the Hollywood elite, that's how they look so good, by the way. That's why Brad Pitt still looks good. That's why Jennifer Aniston still looks good, right? She's been drinking this adrenochrome the whole time. From tortured children, of course. And then, yeah, so that painting is just a symbol of what they actually do. This one really got me. You might not want to eat out at restaurants. Now, you might be thinking, hey, it's coronavirus, there's a pandemic. I don't eat out at restaurants. Well, neither do I. But after you hear this, you're probably never going to eat out at a restaurant again, and you'll certainly never eat any ketchup. Apparently, they're trying to normalize cannibalism. And so after they torture the children for the adrenochrome and they skin them alive, I was told this poor person who conveys these things to me, in all seriousness, I do feel bad for this person, because that person told me, hey, I'm not able to sleep at night after I see some of this stuff, right? So this person watches some YouTube videos and unfortunately falls for some pretty ridiculous stuff, in all honesty. But apparently they're grinding up the kids and they're putting them in the food. All these kids that are disappearing, see, they put them on milk cartons in the 80s. And I remember, right, I grew up in the 80s. I was born in the 70s. You know, I mean, come on, I'm an old man. But I was born in the 70s and raised in the 80s. And I remember when they put those kids on the milk cartons, and apparently they were putting them on the milk cartons so that it would normalize the kids disappearing. That's not normal. And what's happening is they're all a part of some pedophilia sex ring run by the Hollywood elite and the world. And that's what Trump was brought here to tear apart, tear down, and him and JFK Jr. and a team of other heroes known as Q are all going to solve these problems. Well, I'm certainly happy that some of this stuff is absolutely ridiculous, right? I do wish that they would solve whatever pedophilia problem does exist. But, I feel bad for the people that subscribe to this far-out conspiracy ideology, because it just would be hard to sleep at night thinking this stuff actually exists. But the good news is, hey, look, for all my Trump-loving friends and family, which is probably about 85% of you, the good news is your man's going to be in office come March 4th. You're just going to have to deal with the Biden inauguration so that he can be convicted of treason. So, hey, folks, that's what I learned. I hope that you learned something here. And, all I can say is I hope peace and love for all of you, and, stay woke.